Torvis over for the team too. Immediately got himself the interrupt, the dispel build with those judgments. So for Chicago, they actually might be able to get quite a bit of value with that flame shock. Actually, every time you're gonna have the flame shock dispelled, at least the paladin is gonna take full damage and knock himself up in the air, which is gonna kind of limit some of the mobility. So for Chicago, having the knockup protection might not be a bad idea, actually. Got himself the Raptors join in, Fire Raptors with this Frosty Raptor, knock him to Torvis. Every time he judgments, he can't even control the dispel aspect. You're just going to be knocked up in the air, limiting his mobility, taking a lot of damage out front for dispelling the flame shocks. It's actually like anti-paladin punishment mechanic, actually. What do you think about it? Chicago trying to see if he can maybe get by him. It's going to be a flame shock again, knocking him up in the air. Every time the man judgments, Hodge on Chicago does have a knockback for the paladin. He's trying to see if he can maybe play it super safe. Doesn't rush out as Chicago immediately. But Torvis, does he have cooldowns available? Did he use wings at some point at all? Or is he down on the count for now? It's going to be Raptor joining in, trick at 4. Torvis, as he uses that human rage to break out of the sun, trying to see if he can somehow get away from Chicago. It's going to be Static Totem, trying to see if he can boop him around all place. Does he have the totem movement ability? Because the grips with those totems are actually super fun. No hand of freedom available for this root totem though. Does get himself a wall really early though. Got himself a head of freedom as well. Burrow by Chicago is going to be able to pop back up on Torvis. Do they have a big combo of damage afterwards? Try to see if he can maybe combine something off of that. Knock back onto the Hodge. Torvis got himself played to defense right now. Could potentially be a blessing and protection situation for him at some point in the future. Big zaps out of Chicago. Takes a lot of damage. Are they going to be in trouble or are they okay? Does have a wall for this one. Lay hands for Torvis is going to be using that big paladin defensive in order to see if he can recover a little bit of pressure from Chicago. But let's see, Chicago does end up lava lashing him down, taking him out of the game. With Amarok gonna be up next as an Elemental Shaman. I think still playing up to that Volcanic Surge playstyle, huh? I guess we'll find out if the Lightning Bolts and Lava Bursts are hitting for super hard. It could go in for a big damage. It's going to be Ice Sphere. Light Lasso out of Chicago. Does go for the trick a little bit late. It's going to go for a knockback. Chicago trying to see if he can plan it. Trying to see if they can maybe get a trick out of the guy and then knock him as soon as they go for a lasso of their own. That is so well done. Being able to try kind of play around the enemy target and try to see if you can like maybe try to get their interrupts out. Ooh, that grip used to interrupt their cast and trapped them with a lava burst. Trying to go from Stormkeeper. Does he have some big gun? Chicago taking quite a bit of damage though. Then it's going to be knocked back for a second. Grounding showed him down for a moment. It looks like it is going to be root for a second on Chicago as Amarok looking for the recovery. Having an enhancement charm with such a short cooldown of that interrupt, it's going to make it so much harder for Amarok to really get himself a lot of recovery. Does have himself plenty of defenses to work with. There goes the Guardian Spirit. Maybe can make some damage happen. Lightning Bolts on Chicago do quite a bit of damage. Got himself the Earth Shock to follow. Maybe a Frost Shock. This is going to be less out of Chicago as they go in for a Static Totem. I think it was actually Amarok's Static Totem that time around. Massive Zap available for Chicago. Light Lasso for Amarok, trying to see if he can buy himself a little bit of time. Chicago has a Lightning Bolt ready for the guy to do a ton of damage as long as it can line it up properly. And I think just trying to maintain as much melt as possible in order to maximize the value of the damage. Lava Burst, knockback, leaping back in, trying to see if he can break that root immediately. Frost Shock for Amarok, but Chicago got him trapped up. Gonna grip him out. You open in a good spot. Big Lightning Bolts on Amarok though. Does have some maybe a big Lava Burst to follow. Trying to go for a knockback on Chicago. Doesn't quite work out. Chicago made some interrupt, so it's gonna be perfect juke for Amarok. Earth Shock to follow. Into a Frost Shock to root him. It's gonna be able to sprint out of that Frost Shock, and it's gonna go for a Frost Shock of their own, slamming him down. That is a rough one. I feel like Amarok actually, when he killed Cass, was able to do quite a bit of damage. He just needed himself a clean Lava Burst. More Lava Burst, I think, would have done the trick. Chicago going for Light Lasso into Seamark. Is going to be a grounded totem for a last second. Does have touch of the magic onto Chicago. Was that ultra time? It is ultra time. Trying to see if he can use the ultra time to interrupt Chicago. Burrow down for a second. Chicago trying to see if he can spike back up onto Seamark. Does end up knocking him up in the air. And is going to go for that instant invisibility with that improved invis though. 60% damage reduction. Trying to see if he can fade away from Chicago for just a second. Was able to reduce the damage of Burrow by quite a bit. Random Bloodlust out of Seamark, juking out Chicago. Potentially big damage for the mage. Chicago trying to see if they can counter offensive here. Looking for a bit of a heal. It's going to be a grip totem, but it doesn't get to maximize the value. I think it was just Seamark blasting him out at the very end. Maybe Chicago ran out of mana. Trying to go for a bit of damage of their own, actually. Get a shot onto Seamark. Try to see if he can walk away from the rogue. Cloak shot is to follow. Full death mark onto Seamark. May decide to go for an ice buck here. Then it's going to be a lot of dots. If they can maybe like mitigate the amount of damage those dots are doing by keeping the rogue at bay, they might actually be okay. Vanish available for Dali is running through an Arcane Orb. Images are available for Seamark, able to reduce a lot of the damage taken from Dali with every single strike. and it's going to be able to know him for a second. That's why the rogue has nothing left right now. He has a blind. Maybe he can use smoke bomb. Big blast on Dally. Unless he can go for a blind right now. Sivak is way too far away. Big missiles to follow. Dally might just be going down. Barrage by then. Oh, doesn't even go for the barrage. Just to touch his magic with those missiles back to back. With Beastman trying to see if he can find a good angle versus Sivak. Throwing down the Arcane Orb. Blinks available. It's going to be Shadow Step. Immediate breath by Sivak. Poly most likely going to be tricked out of the rogue. Does force a trinket. Sivak was able to predict it pretty easily. Interrupted, but it's going to be juked out completely. The Beastman could take a lot of damage right now. Looks like Sivak is just going to play defensive. Not going to take that precognition and try to push into Beastman. Instead, he's going to take it super steady. And just go for a bit of food, sitting down, trying to go for a bit of recovery. Sap by Beastman is going to end up walking into the freezing trap. I think trying to put that thing on DR to make it much more difficult for Sivak to go for back-to-back polys. Blind really early on though, so maybe just trying to go for full stuns. Blink available for Beastman. Trying to maybe go for an interrupt onto Sivak. Does he get to precognition him? No. Does not get to go for a kick just yet. Does get knocked back. Is that another Shadow Step available potentially? Sivak maybe actually had to be very careful. Gonna be mad damage to the Beastman. Does that go for advantage? Nova to follow. Maybe touch the magic still connects. No. Smoke bomb. But it does give Sivak a bit of an idea where Beastman is at. Is going to be able to at least put him out in the open. That touches the magic does not really get much value. Gouge does not go for an interrupt, but that Gouge does at least prevent Sivak from moving in for a second. All the time does put him back in a different position versus Beastman. Does he have a Shadow Step? Because if the rogue does not have a Shadow Step, he has a cloak. He has a vanish, just going for the vanish. But he definitely does need to find a way to close the gap with Sivak whenever possible. Barely hanging in on the teetering around the edge of that ring, frozen ring. Cloak of Shadows to follow as Sivak gets lots of damage. If Sivak can just live this for a little bit, Cloak of Shadows is going to wear off as he still has full burst damage right now. My god, oh my goodness. Barrage, it is going to be a touch of death, or cheat death rather. Oh my goodness, touch of death. I'm going to say touch of the magic, but touch of death I guess we'll do it too, right? Kargath up next, full burst on the Sivak, Death Shock him, but looks like it's going to be a quick size block for the mage. Try to see if it go for a bit of a resetti. My goodness. Oh man, Sivak does get hit with a scatter tone for a second into a blink until the freezing trap. Unfortunate, taking quite a lot of damage from a Beastmaster or Hunter. It is going to be all the time to at least let him reset for a second. Poly onto Kargath does go for the Nova on some of these pets. Oh, that crab means business. Look at that big knife that thing is carrying. My goodness. I was trying to link what to throw him, but he was on the edge of the pillar, so there's no option to recommend you wear. Oh, okay, that's what you meant to do. Okay, I see. Not the best for one round, but 3 is a blast. For sure. Big damage on the Kargath, touch of the Magi. I see him just absolutely barrage the missiles back to back. Does have his pets fully beefed up. Is gonna almost establish a full Ring of Frost, but not quite. It's gonna be Arcane missiles to follow right after. But is there a random succubus just hanging out here as well? Is that a friendly succubus or? I think it is. Barrage? Does Chivak get it? Oh! My guy just survived like no health. Turtle shell to the perfect time. That missiles was brutal. Wait a second, one of your pets? Oh, one of your pets got hit by the Arcane Orb. That is unfortunate. That's, oh! I didn't even see that barrage connect. I don't even know if Sivak really targeted the pet. I think that barrage cleaved off of the pet onto the Hunter. I could be wrong, but it looked like that's what happened. It's going to be a bit of that AoE with shifting power for Sivak as he goes in for a knock onto Kragma. Trying to see if he can maybe freeze him down in place. Yeah, he does get to freeze him in place with full burst available for the Arcane Mage. Potentially a big opportunity. Kragma definitely needs to play super defensive. It's going to be full go by this Arcane Mage. My goodness. Is that 1v5? It is. Also healed a lot. I don't know how you heal as an Arcane Mage, but there it is. All right. Well, Arcane Mage got a lot of power behind them, don't they? I think now's the time to maybe get your mages up and running, boys. Get some honor gear for those guys.